The message for today is actually about people that only the user can say. Those who are always happy if you are giving something. But when it times that you cannot give anymore, it's like they never known you. They never known what you have help. So if it's their time to help you also, well, they will say anything that they wanted. It's like they own you. They own you actually. So familiar, right? Those kinds of people. Really, why? That's the thing that I cannot understand actually. I know how those brain works, but what's inside of their heart? Because there's something connection between the heart and the brain, right? That's the thing that I cannot understand. Why if it's them, it's their turn. It's like they are accusing you like that, or well, I can say be careful also for those people that happy when you are being on that state. There are really people like that. They would be happy if they are seeing someone is, oh my gosh, also a lost people. They don't have already heart. They lost already themselves in that state also. Someone is the evil side can easily handle them. Why they can feel those things or towards others. If you observe a person like that, well, don't be an example on that state that you won't be like them also. Don't use it as an be we always say that be strong. Yeah, it's hard to be strong actually if it's always you always experience it in, yes, but the more you fight for it and realize it, the more you will be strong, promise, than doing it also at their state, because they are already lost. Don't be lost also. Oh my gosh, my phone is again offing by its own. You really don't want to hear what I'm going to say? Oh my gosh. What the hacker only wants to hear is what it wants only to hear? Oh my gosh. In our lives, that is reality. The giver is always the giver, but how about if the other party, it's their turn also? Because you cannot anymore. But what are they doing? They are actually destroying the person. That it will lead to chaos between them. They will quarrel, they will fight, of those kinds of, whew, that will only lead to yeah, chaos. Unknowingly. That's the other problem of this world also. What's the English of that? Wait. Well, it's it says in the Google it's charging, but I know there's another term about that one. So I can say even the giver and the receiver itself will charge each other with words, with etc., with hurt words that it leads to anger. You're just saying right. Look what's happening in the world. The world is in really chaos, even in reasoning why people are being angry and having those hurt and hatred to one another. The reasoning itself also. Why don't people accept that there's a time that people will really has a time that he cannot anymore? The giver itself gives and gives and gives, but the other one, and then the giver cannot already give, but the other one, it's the time to give also, but yeah, it's doing actually, but complaining, and actually the giver didn't complain anything. But how about the giver is always complaining? Well, let's continue. Someone came in. So, how about if the giver is the always the one who is always complaining? I can say, why did you volunteer as a giver actually if you complain? And why will you make a family if you complain? It's your fault of what you have done in the past. Why does that family is there? As children, I can say, I actually explained this before in my other channel, but more elaboration can be, because family is always the key for the problem on the society actually. It starts from the family. What the parents do to a child, and what the child's look at his parents actually. But for my situation, well, not a good example actually. But there's an instant a person will realize something on his own actually. I know not only me is like being a person like that. So yeah, the first example on the eyes of a child is the parents. But who will decide in the end who will he or she be is the self itself when you became an adult. So I've said, if you open yourself wisely on what's happening in the world and observe, not only observing your own pain, but observe the connection of every person to every person, you will understand why. There's always a pain in trauma that leading to something. The thinker that we are saying, that's not enough also. You have to sometimes observe through experience also. Be lucky that you will experience kinds of a person, even the baddest person. If you experience traumas and pain, turn it as being strong person, not as your pain and trauma that make you more lost, like going to the side of having what we call drugs, burning yourself in the liquor, or oppressing yourself with depressions and distress and anxiety. Make it as a bright future, because I experienced also that side, that oppressing of yourself. Is it my fault? Is it my fault why I became like this? It's a vain also. As in really, yes, using God's name in vain. As you oppress yourself, not directly using the name's God, but giving vain to yourself, you don't respect yourself, that means you don't respect also the creation of God, which is yourself and others. That's why you can oppress, or the persecutor itself, or the persecuted, the oppressor or the oppressed, the bullier or the bullied one, the narcissist that they are always saying, the psychopath inside, etc. That's also an vain example of those in that side of vain. But the heaviest sin, yes, that's saying, God, why am I here in this earth? Why? Well, actually, it's our fault from the very beginning, because we became, that's why that's the connection of reincarnation there. That's why we always feel tired. The deja vu itself, the feeling, the unknowing tower moment, the hurt, the hatred. It's our fault. Those sins that we are doing over and over again, we are always given a chance. But maybe better that in our next life, we remember who we are in the past, so that at that moment we can really understand why we are always on this state, that giving one another trauma and pain. We complain everything actually. Don't you dare excuse yourself to that state, because we always do that, complain. And since all of us, we are doing it actually, using one another, oppressing one another, disrespecting one another, Confirmation. And be careful also that because of that one, you will make yourself also in a lost state like the one who given you. Always pray that even you did feel those wings to yourself pitiful, but at the end you will realize a bright side of it. That's an example also of getting yourself on that state, saving yourself actually. As the other side is being exposed more and more, they will be more and more also. Do their best to that evil side. Well, pahabol. I mean, another message. When it comes to laziness, right? All we do is we complain also. That's why no one perspire actually. We complain. And whose fault is actually why we don't perspire? It's the self itself, right? If you realize it, you will react is because it is true. Why do we complain actually? In the it's our job to do that one because we choose it. So we choose it to complain. But there's an instant that we complain because of that. Well, that's a different situation. Not the lazy one. It's about the hurt and hatred, that trauma and pains. We complain also on that state. How about if we heal ourselves of that one, so that we only remember it, but the pain is and trauma is we cannot no more remember it, right? I think that is an enough message for today. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification, comment, and share so that my next videos.